and welcome to Rouge Radio. This is the CIS Preview with the CIS football season starting up. We brought in Michel, Belanger, Manager in Communications and Media Relations from the CIS to talk some CIS football with us. Thanks for joining us, Michel.
Good to be with you, Kevin.
Well, first weekend right out the gate, we have for the OUA, McMaster facing Guelph. Guelph coming off kind of a down year, kind of in flux. They have a new field this year, so you know they want to build up the program. You don't get a new field for nothing. Obviously, the school's putting money into the program. They want to be successful. Right.
And I think it's going to be interesting to see the way that McMaster reacts, the way that McMaster comes out. This being the first time in history that they go into a season as defending national champions. I mean, you know, obviously you expect, especially on home field, you probably expect McMaster to beat Guelph and start 1-0. But it's still going to be interesting, I think, to see the way they come out as defending champions. But I look at the first week, and I look at two matchups: Regina-Calgary. Regina getting Mark Mueller back at quarterback. A lot of people say that Regina could give Calgary a really good run for their money in Canada West. So that's going to be a huge matchup on day 2 of the season on September 1st. And also in the OUA, Ottawa at Windsor. If you remember, Windsor had a great season, their best season in a long time last year. They were 5-3, and these two teams played in the playoffs in Ottawa, and Windsor absolutely dominated the GGs. I believe they put up 50 points or something like that against the GGs in the playoffs. So there is going to be some revenge on the GGs' minds in the opening weekend as well.
Well, especially with mentioning Windsor, Austin Kennedy, he didn't play the full season last year, quarterback for Windsor.
And wasn't it exciting when when they put him, their season just took off when they put him as the starting quarterback. And I thought for a while, I think a lot of people thought for a while that he might be the Hick Crichton nominee for the OUA. Ended up being the great receiver from McMaster, Mike DeCroce, and he totally deserved it. But I think a lot of people looked at the season that Austin Kennedy had for Windsor, and he's going to be a really, really exciting player to watch.
Well, Austin Kennedy didn't play the full year last year. Neither did McMaster quarterback last year, Kyle Quinlan. And Quinlan starting the season, he didn't start the season last year because of his suspension. He had some off-field issues. This year, him starting out right out the gate, there'll be a nice little Heck-Creighton battle between those two, watching them all season.
Oh, absolutely. And if you look, I mean, if you want to take a look at the OUA, it all starts with Kyle Quinlan. I mean, what a story. As you said, he started the season, played, I believe, in the first 2 games, then was suspended 3 games, and then he came back, and wow, he was voted MVP of the OUA Yates Cup, MVP of the UTEC Bowl against Acadia, and then obviously MVP of the Vanier Cup against Laval. For the fans who might not remember exactly what kind of numbers he put up in that exciting, I mean, a lot of people consider last year's Vanier Cup as the most exciting Vanier Cup ever, 41-38 in overtime for McMaster. It was the first time in their 7th Vanier Cup appearance that Laval was defeated in the Vanier Cup. So they went in with a 6-0 all-time record in the Vanier Cup, and they lost to McMaster in overtime. But in that game, how about those numbers for Kyle Quinlan? 482 passing yards plus another 106 rushing yards. That's not too bad. That's not too bad considering that Laval finished with the best defensive record in the country for the 4th consecutive year. And they don't do that in a weak conference. I mean, they put up those defensive numbers in a really, really strong year in and year out, really strong Quebec conference. And Kyle Quinlan absolutely took them apart in the Vanier Cup. That was probably one of the most impressive Vanier Cup performances ever.
Oh, I agree with that completely.
Oh, absolutely. So you look at McMaster. When you look at the OUA, I kind of look at the OUA with McMaster as I don't want to say as the clear front runner, but but as the front runner for sure, with the season that they had last year, and especially the way that they played in the playoffs, I think they have to go in as the top team in the OUA, favorite to repeat. But you have a lot of teams. I probably put 2, 3, even 4 teams right up there, like in that second category. I mean, you have Western, obviously, which tied with McMaster for first place in the regular season last year at 7-1. Actually, Western finished first with the tiebreaker. They were the only team to beat McMaster last year in the regular season. And then you had Windsor. We talked a little bit about Windsor, and they're led by Austin Kennedy. We talked about him, so they're going to be exciting. Western returns Donnie Marshall at quarterback for his 5th and final season, so they're in good hands as well. But I would include Ottawa and Queens in that category of kind of right after McMaster. I mean, I know Ottawa got blown away by Windsor last year in their playoff game in an OUA quarterfinal. Final score was 50-33 on home turf. But I was looking at their returning starters. They returned 11 players on defense, 11 starting players, and all 12 starting players on defense. So Ottawa, on their new head coach Gary Etcheverry, they should be really, really competitive, and I expect big things as well from Queens. The Gales are, they're always so well coached, with Coach Sheehan, and they had a good season last year, 6-2. Kind of struggled against McMaster in the OUA semis. They lost 40 to